All right, we're back. It has too much downtime anyway. All right, we're back, y'all. Merry Christmas. Thank you for tuning in with us today. We appreciate all the things that you guys do. Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, whatever it is that you celebrate down this time of year. Happy Festivus. We're not sure what you're doing right now. Some of you guys may be Christmas shopping,
getting the last. You know what? I bet you it's more men out there now than anything. Last minute.
I see. What are you trying to say? Last minute Christmas shopping?
I'm just saying. I think there's probably more men out there.
Christmas shopping. Well, we thank you for joining us. You could be Christmas shopping right now. You could be what else? What other stuff?
Watching
Lifetime Movie Network for the women.
Basketball and their basketball on.
Right. I'm sure there's probably some NBA games on. I'm not sure what's happening right now, but we thank you guys for tuning in.
This is going to be a great topic. We have fought all week long, and we are ready to share.
The research is in.
What we believe God has put on our hearts.
We want you to go ahead and share if you haven't done so already. Keep hitting the share button and pass this along. You don't want anybody to miss this. This is going to be very powerful. We're going in. This is stuff people don't traditionally talk about.
No, I was shocked when he said it. I was like, what?
She was shocked she was shocked that she got called out.
No.
Because the research suggests that all women do this. So that's where the shock. She was like, oh, you found out.
But it has caused us to have a lot of open
dialogue about this, because this is crazy.
And difficult conversations about this. And we probably wouldn't have had it otherwise. So let's go.
This is crazy, y'all. So if you haven't done so already, please share. Oh gosh, yep. Here we go again. It's private. But anyway, keep talking.
All right, so we have this prayer challenge coming up on December 31st. We will be praying once an hour. On top of the hour, it won't be just us. We have our team from Join at the Hip.
That's right.
Joining us, and we'll be praying for forgiveness, Christ-centered marriages, health, unrealistic expectations. That's kind of my favorite one. But so we're going to be praying all day. So please tune in for the particular hour that you would like to tune in for, and share your prayer requests, and we will be praying for you. We dare not go into the new year without praying for our marriages.
Let's lift up, let's cover our spouses in prayer.
Yeah.
Let's not go into the new year. I mean, it's fun to celebrate and party, and I get that. But let's not repeat some of the same mistakes that we made in 2017. In 2018, let's start the year off with God on our minds, with our marriage on our minds, so we could be better spouses to one another.
Exactly, because I don't know about you. It was a rough year. God has done some amazing things, and we can't start another one without him. So please join us December 31st. We'll be praying from noon on until midnight that night. And of course, our marriage retreat. Don't forget that. We have that coming up the first weekend in June. We have a flyer coming out soon. So please start saving your money for that. You don't want to miss it. Last time we had a 90s party, and oh my God.
Oh, we're going to start putting some clips on there so you guys get the excitement going. But y'all know what we're talking about tonight. Let's jump right in. Y'all know what the discussion is. We do want to hear some of your comments. We may read some of them on air. It depends if we can get through this material. But I just want to first start out by saying, first of all, why do women fake? Like, it's starting to become an epidemic.
Okay, first of all,
it's a legit problem. No, legit though.
It is what it is. So if we were in a room full of women, right, and we say, raise your hands if you've had an orgasm with your husband in the past couple of years, every time you have sex, how many hands?
Zero.
All right.
It'd probably be zero. I ain't gonna even lie right now, based off the research.
It wouldn't be zero, but I think you'll see a few, but not many. And then if men, how many of you?
You said every time.
Every time.
Said so every time. Yeah. That's probably a zero. That's a zero.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Based off the research, that's a zero.
It's okay. So then, if you have the same for men, room full of men, ask them how many times you have an orgasm every time.
Bad
you
question.
Have sex.
That's a bad question.
That's everybody in
we
the
ain't
room.
gonna do it unless we gonna finish.
Exactly.
That's the bad question. Don't even ask that.
So the question is, why do women feel like?
No. First, before you change it, the topic. Let's recap the topic.
Yeah.
We are talking about women, wives. We know that you fake. We caught you faking.
Why do you have to put the extra on it?
I mean, just come on for emphasis.
Okay.
The gig.
Surprise.
Yeah, the gig's up.
Yeah.
We know you fake. The question is, are we wrong for not always caring that you're faking or that you fake sometimes? And that's the question. Like, I mean, sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes, I mean, that's not the goal. My goal is not to always, how should I say, make sure that you climax. Because, you know, your kids could be scratching and clawing at the door. It depends on the scenario.
In-laws downstairs.
You know, or the setting or where you at. You only have a short amount of time.
Exactly, I agree.
So
we'll talk about that. So, but first of all, why do you think women...
Oh, we already know why women fake.
What's your number one reason?
I think the number one reason women fake is because they're trying to get it over with.
And they're tired.
And they're tired, blah, blah, blah. And they'd rather be doing something else. And they're just not feeling it. And they're just trying to do their quote-unquote wifely duty. Let me just do so that God won't look at me sideways. Let me just fulfill my wifely duty and then blah, blah, blah. And get it over with so he can go ahead and get up off of me. You know, that's really what it is.
Gosh, you make it sound so... Anyway, okay.
So you asked me my number one reason.
Actually, when we were looking up stuff, that really wasn't...
That came up quite frequently.
You know, we missed 25% of women actually have an orgasm during sex. And 75% are kind of reaching for it, trying to have to do different things and kind of be creative in order to reach an orgasm. So the second reason is a lot of women don't know how to tell their husbands, and we're only talking about marriage.
We're talking about let's clarify, we're talking about in the context of marriage.
Right.
You know, because if you're out in these streets and the woman's not being satisfied, you shouldn't be doing it in the first place.
Right.
So
a lot of women don't know how to tell their husbands what they want. Because we had that conversation. I'm like, Mike, you know, that'd be nice if you do that. Be like, that kind of pushes me back. That kind of pushes me back, son. You remember that?
No, don't try to put me on blast on Facebook Live. That's not the content.
So it might be what...
No.
Some women are afraid.
Some women are afraid because they haven't learned to communicate wisely and effectively with their husbands. And that's where the fear comes. I don't know how he's going to receive this. So a better thing is to learn how to communicate with your spouse. The things that you like, the things that are pleasurable for you, that's what you need to discuss with your spouse.
But what we'll talk about later is, are you easy to talk to? Are you easily offended? Like, if I just say,
you're trying to change the show and take it into a different direction.
That's fast forwarding.
The real question is, let's get back to the title. Mm-hmm. Are we wrong for not caring all the time? What's your response to that? Because you trying to dance around. Are we wrong for not caring? We caught you faking blue. The gig is up.
I don't think.
Do I care at the same time?
I don't think that you mean that because
No, I'm saying do I always
do you always care? Should you always care?
That's the question. Yeah. Like, I mean, because if you're gonna lie and be deceitful, because really faking is a form of deceit, right?
Yes, possibly. Can we talk about more reasons why women do it?
Okay, give me more reasons.
The next one is it's hard to emotionally connect with someone, just like you said, that, you know, you want taught to kind of, you know, just lay it all out there for your spouse, or they're hard to talk to. That could be, you know, you're not vulnerable with your spouse. It's another reason why it's just hard to communicate.
Okay, so
what you want or what you don't like.
So you're faking because...
Don't say you're faking. Say some women
fake because the spouse is not vulnerable enough. Come on, now you're reaching a little bit.
They're not emotionally letting go, because in order to have an orgasm, it's you have to let go. You have to,
and that's a problem.
All right,
because they don't take all that from men, and then that's a problem.
We were created differently.
I respect that.
All right,
but my point is, you're not gonna. There's no excuse to pretend to experience something that you're not experiencing.
All right, so that brings me to the last reason. The last reason why women fake, or one of the last reasons, is sometimes they feel like they have to do that to reinforce the skills that you have, right? Because our job,
I'm not co-signing.
Women want their husbands to feel like they're king of the world, right? Like they are just the king. And so you do that, or they may do that in order to make them feel just,
but we're not talking about being encouraging. There's nothing wrong with being encouraging.
Right.
We're talking about faking as if you've climaxed. That's a different thing. We're not talking about encouraging and coaching them up. Well, come on, baby, come on. That's not faking an orgasm. That's being encouraging and being enthusiastic. We're talking about actually faking, like eyes rolling in the back of your head and pretending like, mama say, mama sa, makusa. That's what we're talking about. Let's stay on topic. That's you changing the subject.
So it makes you upset because it is a form of deceit, you're saying.
Yes, it is. To me, it is.
Yeah.
And
God sees it that way, in your opinion.
I'm not gonna tell you how. I'm telling you how I feel about it. I think your intentions, your motivation for doing it may be in the right place because you're trying to protect your husband's ego, but at the same time, how long do we continue the deceit and the charades? Because at some point you're gonna have to have that awkward conversation with your spouse.
I agree.
You cannot avoid that for the rest of your life.
Yes, you should.
And then when your spouse leaves you and you don't know why, but you can't fall back and say, well, you weren't sexually satisfying me because you lied the whole time. I didn't know.
Right.
You were acting like you were having convulsions. So don't try to go back.
Like everything was all good.
Right. And don't try to leave later on talking about he wasn't doing nothing for me. And you didn't have that conversation.
You have to, and that's what I said earlier. This has caused us to have a lot of uncomfortable situations.
Exactly. Transparency.
Yeah.
You got to be transparent with that.
Really talked about that like we have this week, and so I appreciate that.
Okay.
But we talked about last night how the car salesman, right? So the car salesman, let's say he has this newborn baby, he's been tired all night, but as soon as that customer walks through the door, there's a big old smile on his face. He doesn't let the customer know what his night was previously, right? He's just trying to sell the car, right? He's trying to get his or the customer the best quality car that he knows. So sometimes, some people are saying you just have to put a smile on your face, appreciate what's being done. You may not reach the peak of the mountain, but enjoy being pleasured.
Enjoy the ride.
Yes, okay? Enjoy the ride.
Women, I'm talking to the women. Respect the wives. Respect.
Because this ain't gonna be no woman bashing show. I'm
being respectful.
Yes. For how long? For how long?
I don't know. Let's see.
All right.
Women, I think oftentimes, I'm not going to say all women or all wives, but oftentimes you may have unrealistic expectations of what sex should be or what coming together with your spouse should be.
Men the same.
And men the same.
Yes.
Let me clarify that and say, and here's an example of that. Like a lot of wives or women are into romance novels. So from a young age, they've been romanticized and fantasize about what a coming together, their wedding day, and what it would be like the first time I make love to my husband, and there's gonna be doves, and there's gonna be a rainbow, and there's gonna be a unicorn, and a man's gonna come on a white horse and lay me down in green grass. No, I have to reinforce that.
Yes, I don't know if we're asking for all that, but
no, it has to be reinforced because this is where this comes from. And so if all that's not aligning for you, if there's no rose petals leading to the bedroom and no champagne, or it's all that has to align, all the stars have to align for a woman to have this big climax, top of the mountain experience. And it's not like that in
all
real
right.
life situations.
You know what unrealistic expectations a man might set?
Give me some.
First of all, we've all, God has had grace with all of us, but there's some men who are addicted to porn. Let's say they went to strip clubs. They've been promiscuous, whatever the case may be. You got women twerking it, dropping it, whatever you call it nowadays.
Yeah, they are twerking.
Yeah, they are twerking it, right? Turning it upside down, flipping, whatever.
They are doing that.
And so you get, and how do you know?
No, I've heard.
Thank you. So you get married and you want your wife.
Your wife's supposed to do that. What you mean?
Okay, no, I understand that, but let's just say she falls a little short, Mike, from the porn. Like, are you serious?
No, we're not talking about porn, but you saying your wife can't be your...
Or even the strip club. I'm down for it, but I'm just saying if I fall a little bit short of a stripper, since I've never done that professionally before. I may fall a little bit short.
What are you saying?
I'm just saying that sometimes men set.
Okay, so it's unrealistic to expect your wife to always bring it and drop it like it's hot.
Every night. And
lingerie every night and bring her
go to bed in some rollers.
So I understand that.
Exactly.
So both parties have unrealistic sometimes expectations of what that sexual experience needs to be in a marriage. In a marriage, you got kids.
Yeah.
So half the time, 9 times out of 10, there's kids pulling at you. You're being pulled in different directions. You have bills. You don't have time for all the romanticism and all that preliminary.
Not all the time.
Not all the time.
So we said before you guys, come together and be intimate, if there could be a huddle or some type of gameplay discussion, like, okay, so what is this?
What are you expecting this time?
Yes.
All right, we're about to do it. So what
are we trying to make a movie?
Is this are we filming this?
Yes.
What are we doing? Are we going for the marathon?
Yes.
Are you trying to is this a quickie and we need to do this?
Kids outside the door.
And we could, that conversation needs to happen in a marriage, because that way expectations are met.
Right.
And there's that conversation, so you're not later on like, man, this joker got his and now I'm sitting here and it's over. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then,
but you know what? What if one part or spouse disagrees with the play?
What do you mean disagree with the play? What is that play?
Meaning, like, what if you want a quickie and I'm kind of ready to, let's just say
the circumstances dictate what you do. So again, if I only have a 5-minute window, I'm not trying to take you to the mountaintop right there. I'm trying to get it in and get out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I owe you one later. You know what I'm saying?
Don't forget.
Yeah, you gotta rain check on that.
All right.
But then if the kids are in bed, everything is taken care of, and we got time, and then now we have to pull out all the romanticism and the foreplay.
Which you won't have a problem with.
No, and I don't have a problem with that.
I wonder what men fake, and I think foreplay is probably one of those.
How do you fake foreplay?
Okay. Anyway.
You can't fake foreplay. Either you doing it or not.
Or maybe you want it. It's lasted a little bit longer than you want it to.
Okay, so that's not faking. See, my wife is having an issue with the word faking. She's trying to make this equal. Men don't fake. We can't fake an orgasm. You see that it's evident when we have an orgasm when we're climbing. There's no faking between that. So she's trying to find something to equate what men do.
So is faking on that line? Is faking always an implication of what the man is doing right?
I'm glad you brought that up. No, I'm glad you brought that up.
Asking the question.
Wives, I'm going to address you again.
Oh my gosh. Go ahead.
I don't think faking is all on the man. I don't think it's the man's 100% on the man's responsibility to make you climax. I think there's some other factors that go into why women don't have an orgasm, right? A lot of times, if you do the research, a lot of times women have other things on their mind when they enter the bedroom.
Yeah.
They're thinking about washing clothes and all the stuff that they have to do.
Eat the next day.
Going to bed, because if I don't wake up at a certain time, then my whole day's thrown off. Did I pack lunches for the kids?
We have to be fair and say it's maybe 50% on the man.
We'll take half of it.
And we'll take half of it.
No, most women don't. Most women don't. See, that's very big of you to take half of it. But in actuality, women will leave a man that's not sexually satisfying them.
But there's
because they're not taking ownership of their own orgasm.
We have to take ownership.
We take ownership of ours. You ain't never heard a man
blame. It's gonna happen. Like,
have you ever heard a man blame a woman? I couldn't. No. When the man can't do nothing, then he has erectile dysfunction. They got all kinds of commercials talking about bashing men. Oh, he can't do nothing. But you never hear nobody taking responsibility for the woman not being able to have an orgasm.
All right, so let's take some responsibility. At least half of it.
Please do that.
Let's make sure that our minds are relaxed. Let's make sure that we're not insecure about our bodies, because I believe that could be a reason too.
Right, you thinking about, I wonder if he thinks I'm fat.
Turn the lights off.
Turn all the lights off.
Yeah.
Clapping,
no, but that's not
turning the lights
thinking,
off
right?
and stuff.
Yeah.
Not only that, you guys, your mind, your bodies are there, but your mind is elsewhere. You got to understand that sex begins in the mind. That's why Jesus said a man could commit adultery if he thinks about lying with a woman. Before, you don't have to lie with a woman. You could be fantasizing and thinking about it. So what are you bringing? What's in your mind when you come to the bedroom with your husband?
All right, so that's the ladies. What can you do?
What you mean?
Can you take, when you're taking responsibility for, let's say, your wife not having an orgasm, what does that look like? Does that look like you spending more time?
That means I need to be more intentional. I need to ask questions. May not necessarily be enduring, but I need to understand my wife's body a little bit better. I need to understand what things feel good to her and what things don't. I need to have a mindset where I'm not being selfish and I'm not in it for me.
Yes.
This is my position. Peace out. I don't care. Let's do it my way. We're doing this. I need to be more open to what the things that you like. And that's me taking responsibility.
Right. That's big of
and
you.
doing, well, hey, that's
all right.
who I am.
So the next thing is, for all the brothers out there, are men easy to talk to? Are you guys easy to talk to? If I were to tell you, okay, well, that's great, but I would like it if you did this.
That's a good question, but a better question is,
is it a safe environment?
It's safe. I think men generally are comfortable with this conversation if it's done in a respectful, uplifting way. If you're coming at a man, you ain't hitting on nothing. You over there just swinging and missing it. You know what I'm saying? If you coming at the man like that and you're not doing nothing to satisfy me, I'm not getting any. You're too quick. You finish before I even get started. I mean, women could be.
We can.
You could tear a man down.
4:15 says, "Speak the truth in love." Right. So you talked about last week about the sandwich mentality. Oh, you're great at this. You do this well. But do you mind kind of adding this or staying here a little bit longer or whatever? You know what I'm saying? So
I'm the type of person I have to ask questions because you don't know.
You'll ask a million questions.
We do stuff.
1 million.
Hold on.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We do stuff that we think that you might like. So without asking you and seeing and observing body language, we just going full speed ahead thinking, hey, we doing something, but we may not be doing nothing. Right. And that's true. And that's where knowing your spouse and having those conversations and then being coached through it. Sometimes us men, we need to be humble and just say, okay, what do I need to do to pleasure you in the way that you want to be pleasured or touched?
Right.
What does that look like? Show me.
And not worry, and don't have your ego crushed like 5 seconds into what you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Conversation.
Right. I agree.
Like I'm not, and I think that's why maybe so many women have faked over the years, is because we're trying to protect your ego and your strength and your self-confidence and your self-esteem, and we feel like if we told you the truth, all of that would be crushed. So be a little.
We need to be more
open,
more receptive to constructive criticism.
Exactly.
Because we could turn a deaf ear to because we're so used to tuning our wives out. Because sometimes, I'm gonna just say, sometimes y'all can get to a place where it's so critical or it's so you're not doing this right that we have to just move in a different direction. We can do that as guys. We can turn you off. But we need to be more receptive to your needs in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Not just be concerned about what's in it for us. We need to see what you like. So somebody said, who is responsible for the climate? Your job is to make me forget about outside distractions. It's not easy when your mind is focused on something. Like my wife can't make me forget about something. If I have a deadline with work or something like that, my mind's on work. That's just the way men are wired. We're task oriented. I need to finish this. I can't think about that right now. Let me focus on this. And when I'm done with that, I'll take care of whatever you need me to take care of. So there are women that who are so wrapped up in being mothers instead of being wives first, that they can't think outside that, hey, I'm this man's wife. Let me see what he needs, or let me go ahead and focus in on this right now, and I'll deal with the children or the clothes, dishes. It's hard for women to juggle that role between a wife and a mother. We did a whole show about this during Mother's Day. It's very hard. So it's not 100% on me as a man to make sure you climax. So you're saying
I'm responsible for my own orgasm?
I know I'm responsible for mine. So why are you not responsible?
That's not.
I'm 50% responsible for mine.
So
if I start thinking about basketball, the playoffs, and I'm no longer into it, and things go down that were normally up, and I can't stay in the game, then what? Whose fault is that? Your fault or mine? Okay, so how come you're ready to receive that? That's on me when my mind drifts and I'm thinking about basketball and the playoffs.
Okay, so that brings us to our next point. What's causing you to miss your spouse? Is it first of all, we need to tell them, of course they know, that it's the job of the enemy to make you separate from your spouse, to even cause you, even if you're not getting an orgasm, to say, man, I don't want to be with that man. He don't do nothing for me. The devil wants you to separate from your spouse. And so you have to decide what's causing you to separate. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
We already talked about one is the unrealistic expectation.
Overexposure.
If you don't have that game plan, that pre-game meeting with your spouse before, and I'm not saying you always need to have that.
Yeah, can't always happen.
But if you're in a relationship where both or one of you are not being satisfied, you probably need to have a pre-game meeting where you're discussing strategy. Okay, what are we doing? Mm-hmm. Is this on me? Is this about me today? Or is it about both of us? Do we take time? How much time do we have to get this in? Are we doing this? I know it's late and you need to get up for work tomorrow. Would you mind doing this?
Yeah, you definitely have to talk about it.
You have to have it.
Yeah.
It's going to be awkward. We're not going to lie to you. It's going to be awkward at first, but you need to get in the habit of having those uncomfortable.
So that everybody is on the same
page.
Yeah.
That way you're not walking away after it's all said and done in the afterglow and like, man, this sucks. You know, that's the worst feeling in the world, to have to be stuck with someone for the rest of your life and you're not being fulfilled sexually.
Exactly.
That's frustrating.
Yeah.
So you need to talk about it. When you talk about everything else, you'll talk about bills, you'll talk about children, but the stuff that you need to be focusing on, coming together, being one flesh with your spouse, you want to avoid that conversation.
No,
it's crazy.
You have to talk about it.
That's crazy.
But you know what thing? Another thing I think that has come in the way or caused, spouses to meet each other is technology. You know, maybe we don't spend enough time in the bedroom as we used to before because we're on our phones or we are.
I didn't even think about that.
Facebook
we scrolling on Facebook.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're not even having a conversation with your spouse.
Right, or that time for foreplay is kind of cut in half because by the time you get off your phone, you're like, okay, let's do this.
You're tired, yawning.
Exactly.
By the time you turn off the TV.
Yeah, what is getting your attention? Yeah.
What's sucking up your intimacy time?
Right. So maybe you should say after 8 o'clock, right? You know, we haven't had cable in our room for the past week. We put the box downstairs, but we were like, oh my gosh, we have been talking.
There's so much done.
Yeah, we've been talking like every night.
It's crazy.
So it's been crazy. So just do simple things like that, and I think you would find maybe you will get the orgasm, ladies. Maybe you will concentrate, and he will take you to the top of the mountain. But to the top. But you know, we said sometimes that's not always.
Sometimes it's the journey.
It's the journey. It's the
that
pleasure.
You should celebrate.
Exactly.
You may not get to the peak, but the ascension and the journey. You need to learn how to celebrate in that. Sometimes I'm just saying something. I'm not saying all the time.
Right.
But enjoy the ride.
Exactly.
Let's not always be caught up. Well, I never attained what I was looking for. That shouldn't always be your focus, ladies. I think if we shift our focus sometimes and just enjoy the
do
time.
what's in your power. Concentrate and relax. And then sometimes maybe people need to get help. Maybe there's some physical blockages or problems.
We're not negating that.
Yes,
that could
you
be
need
an issue.
To get checked out for something. So I mean, it's just. Just take care of it and just try.
Past hurts.
Yes.
Maybe past sexual abuse from another partner.
Right.
Could cause your mind to go to a place where it doesn't need to be when you're connecting with your spouse.
Even past experiences.
Right. Past experiences.
Yeah. But we know nothing is impossible with God. And if we give our sexuality to Him and we tell Him what we are expecting and wanting physically from our spouse and talking to our spouse about it.
Maybe your prayer should be, God, you gave me this man. I'm going to be faithful to him for the rest of my life. Lord, please help something to happen when we come together.
Yeah.
Lord, you promised. And start claiming the promises of God.
That's right.
You're not going anywhere.
Yes.
So if I'm going to be with this man for the rest of my life, Lord, help me to enjoy
and you
coming
don't think
together.
He will?
You don't think God will hear that prayer?
Yeah.
Come on, y'all.
Now we know sometimes it's not that easy, but we're just saying stay committed to the journey and do not give up, right? A lot of people give up, and that's what the devil wants. He wants to drive a wedge between us.
Exactly.
And cause that war to continue. And he ain't having it.
He's not having the glory in this here marriage.
No.
And hopefully not yours.
Exactly.
So the Bible says in 1 Corinthians 7 verse 4 and 5. Let's read it. The wife hath not power over her own body, but the husband. And likewise also the husband hath not power over his own body, but the wife. So my body belongs to my wife once I say I do.
Right.
It says in verse 5, defraud ye not one another, except it be with consent for a time. So basically it's saying don't withhold sex from each other. Don't defraud her in that way. Hopefully she won't defraud me in that way. Except it be with consent for a time, that ye may give yourselves to fasting and prayer, and come together again, that Satan tempt you not for your inconsistency or incontinency. That means don't give Satan a foothold in your marriage by not coming together physically.
Yeah.
So don't let you not having an orgasm with your spouse say, I don't feel like doing it no more.
Right.
You have to press forward with that thing.
Yeah.
Because now you're allowing Satan to have a wedge.
Yeah.
Now Satan has a foothold in your marriage. He knows that you're not coming together. He knows you're not connecting. Now you're looking for other alternatives to have that orgasm. Right?
Yeah.
You need to pay attention. So what we need to do is pray. Call on the promises of God.
Right.
Have awkward conversations.
Yes. We sure had a lot of...
We had this whole week. This study has brought out so many different things and issues that we didn't know was issues in our marriage.
Right.
You got to talk about it. If you can't talk to your spouse, if it's not safe for you to share it with your spouse, who can you talk to? You guys are in this for the rest of your lives.
That's right.
So you need to get it together, because it's going to be a miserable marriage if you don't get this sex.
But it's gonna cause you to be intentional, because we were talking about the average sexual experience is 4 minutes long.
Ooh, we didn't talk about that. Who said
4 minutes long? Some website. So if the average time is 4 minutes, then you got to devote some more time in that thing. Like you got to
stretch that out.
Stretch that out, because that's not.
First of all, okay.
But there's a time. There may be a time for a 4 minute session, but
we know that women cook slow.
Yeah.
Women are crock pot, men are microwaves. So already by default you're missing each other. So in order to meet in the middle, somebody's gonna have to give somewhere.
Yeah.
And the other party's gonna have to give and for you to connect.
Right.
It's so many things working against marriage.
Yes.
There are people praying against your marriage.
Woo!
There's demonic oppression.
Yeah.
There's strongholds.
Yes.
And witches and people, principalities set up for you to fail in your marriage.
Yes.
So if you're not praying with your spouse, if you're not talking to your spouse and communicating the things that you want to do in your relationship, you're in trouble already.
Don't place yourself there.
When you got married, you already was behind the ball. Everything was against you.
Sin.
50% of marriages in the church ending in divorce. Already you already doomed.
Yeah.
So how you not
And that's one of the devil's tactics.
Right.
We talked about the overexposure, especially before you get married, because then you have this taste for all of this variety of things.
You've developed appetites for things that you weren't supposed to develop an appetite for. So if I like strippers and then I get married, then I'm expecting my wife to turn up every night.
Right.
Come to the bed with G-strings and thongs and hanging from the and
you got some dollar bills though?
Dollar bill. I got that fake. I got that Monopoly. I got that Monopoly on it.
I want no Monopoly money.
I give you that. You can get that. But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You already brought things into marriage that probably shouldn't have been. That's why the Bible says don't fornicate. Don't have sex before marriage, because now you've developed a taste for something that you probably is hard to turn off.
Right.
You open Pandora's box.
But the reality is the mistakes have been made. All we can do is ask God to constantly renew our minds. Mm-hmm. God, let me forget about that. Let me to focus on and He will do it, y'all.
He will do it.
He will do it.
We are living testimonies of God's grace and mercy in our lives.
Yes. Go ahead.
None of us were perfect when we came up.
I was near perfect, but go ahead.
Okay, if you say so.
Pretty close. Pretty close.
Right.
No, I'm just playing. No.
So what we're saying is, don't be afraid to communicate with your spouse. Now, it may look different for different couples. You have to know your couple's communications, your spouse's communication style and their language. Because some men, just truth be told, just not going to receive this.
Yeah.
They just feel that they're just the bomb. All the other women liked it and had so they're going to fall back on them past experience.
Right.
Well, old girl down the street didn't say that.
That's what we talked about earlier.
That's what I'm saying.
Are you easy to talk to?
Some men
even
just
I can talk
it.
to you and you're not even hearing words that
That's
I'm
what
saying.
I'm saying.
Because that head is...
It depends on what man. You got to know your man, wives. You got to know your man. Some men are they just that cool. They've been through too many women to even listen to what you're trying to tell them. They just know they this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
It takes a humble, spiritual man, a godly man, to be able to receive that type of constructive criticism.
All right. So we're going to wrap this up. And then we're going to wrap it up with asking the question. Wives, we know that sometimes that takes place. Faking takes place. But are the men wrong? Are you wrong for not caring?
I know I'm not wrong for not. The question is not always care.
Always is the
Let's specify. I'm not saying to just not care that she faked on me, because we know that. What was this percentage?
25.
25% don't get an orgasm, but that don't mean they're necessarily faking.
No, 25% do get an orgasm with sex. 75% are kind of
don't. But we do know all women fake, and here's the problem.
Oh my gosh, I don't think that you should say
Man,
that.
every woman I asked in preparation for the show.
I mean, that's true. They did.
I showed them the flyer because I was uncomfortable asking them personally, so I just showed them the flyer. What do you think about this? And everyone, come on, we all do it, man. That's just like get out of my face. It was like get out of my face with that. Everybody does it, and we do it for you guys because you guys' egos are out of control or whatever. But my thing is, it just goes back to the pre-game conversation. It's not always the goal for you to achieve an orgasm or you to climax. That's not always the goal. So I'm not wrong for not caring sometimes, because we've already had that established that we're not going into expecting you to climax.
You know, although it may not happen, you know, whatever, I still think you care.
I do care.
I still think you care.
But what I'm saying is, am I going to change the game plan?
Right.
Because I care? No. Because we've already established this is what we're doing. This is the allotted time that we have to engage in doing this.
This is how we feel, how tired we are or we're not.
Yeah, so this is how we're going to do it. We're going to do it like this.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that's where I'm at with mine. And so I don't think it's wrong. I personally don't think it's wrong to not always care if you establish that that's not the goal that you're trying to achieve this time. So, what do you think? Oh, shoot. Sorry, guys.
I was just gonna say, I think even when you don't care, I think you do. I think, you know, your confidence, your self-esteem, all of that is wrapped up into knowing that you pleasured your wife, right?
Right. It is.
And so I think that men, even if you don't make your wife climax, if she was to really be honest about it or not, you know, take joy in just, man, anything you want, I'm going to do it for you. You know what I'm saying?
But there's time and place.
There's a time and place
This is what I'm saying.
Time and place for it. But a lot of guys don't want to take that time. If I say, Mike, I want it tonight and I want it to be romantic, I want us to take our time, I want all that.
There's a time and place for that. And this is what...
Every time it can't be a quickie.
I didn't say every time. Now, what you trying to say?
I know. I'm just saying for the men, because sometimes men do not want to put in the work.
I received that.
The time.
But here's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I believe, this is just Michael speaking, I believe that if both parties lowered their expectations and met somewhere at the middle, this is what I expect. Like, I'm not expecting you to just come dive like a trapeze artist and jump on the bed.
Thank you.
I'm not expecting that. I could expect that.
You could.
And that would be unrealistic of me to expect that, right? Because you're not an acrobat. But I believe, just like I gave you that scenario, I believe that sometimes some women have unrealistic expectations of what sex should be too. Like rose petals, champagne, chocolates every night, soft music playing, candlelight. Come on now, we not. That's not what this is. This is marriage. We have lives. There's other things going on. So let's come together. Let's not forsake that just because it's not everything you want it to be.
All right, so as we're wrapping this up, ladies, I'll talk about what we can do. You'll talk about what the men can do. I hope that you'll be fair. Anyway, so when we're about to go down with our husbands, first of all, pray. Don't ever think that it's a holy union. So pray about it. Pray that you guys will be on the same one accord. Get everything out of your mind. No homeschooling, no food, no job. I am interested and so into Mike right now, okay? And so relax. Sometimes you may even have to take a nap, right? Because you know what's going to happen that night.
Plan ahead.
Right?
Plan to clear
and
your
although
schedule.
The big O is nice, what matters is that you have a husband who is pleasuring you and he's interested in you, and just learn your body, and he's going to learn your body, and with time, that thing is going to happen by God's grace.
Oh, that's a promise. You got to claim. Promise has to be claimed.
That's right.
If you're not claiming the promise that God gave you a man, and he wants you to be fulfilled sexually, he created you as a sexual being,
right?
To come together as one flesh. That's one of the commandments. The first commandment: be fruitful and multiply. He expects you to come together with your spouse. So he doesn't expect you to have a bad time with your spouse.
No.
So don't
not look forward to it.
Right.
Yes.
Or look at it as a task or a chore.
And you got to speak that thing in existence. I will climax. I will know what it's like to reach an orgasm.
Mind over matter.
Exactly.
Just tell yourself that.
Yeah. Right. So what you gotta tell the men? See, this is when the show gets cut off. We gotta go now, y'all.
Let's go to commercial.
Yeah.
Nah. Men, what we need to do is we need to be more attentive to our spouse's needs when we're coming together. So if you're, and again, you need to look at visual clues. If you're doing something to her that's not pleasurable, or it doesn't create a sense of feel good in her, then you should stop doing that and then ask her, what can I do to be a better lover? Or to make it more enjoyable for you. Right. Don't come in the bedroom all selfish. We doing it my position, my way. Let's go ahead and knock this out. No, that's not what it's about. It's for sex is for both of us.
Right.
Not just for the man. And I think some women got caught into that mindset. I'm doing this for him. Mm-hmm. We have to change the narrative on that, women. Sex is not for him. It may be a need for him. It may be one of his primary needs, but it's not just for him. It should be pleasurable for you. Mm-hmm. So don't get caught up in that, I'm going to do him a favor by having sex with him. No, because your mindset is you're not in the right place. You're bringing the wrong spirit into the bedroom. you should want to please him just as much as he should want to please you.
Exactly.
So you can look forward to that thing.
Yes.
So anything you wanted to add on the wrap up? Did I do a good job telling the men what they need to do?
Hey, I'll take it.
Okay, because you're looking at me.
Good. Yeah.
Looking at
you know what? I don't even know what we're going to talk about next week. It might be even crazier than this one. Who knows?
Who knows? But,
I don't even know. We thank you guys.
We thank y'all for tuning in.
Yes.
We know it's Saturday night, so
Yes.
basically Christmas Eve right now. You could be out there shopping. I know I need to go out there. I didn't even get nothing yet. Your gift's coming. It's coming. I ain't getting.
We going on vacation. Who cares?
Okay.
I'm good.
So again, since it's Saturday night, you guys, I'm talking to my fellas. Take your wife out.
No, remember the challenge we had
what
last
was the
weekend?
challenge?
The challenge was to do it in a different place.
Location.
Yes.
So hopefully y'all did your homework.
Yes.
Challenge last week was to find an interesting location.
Washing machines, stairs, couches, whatever, tables.
Children's bedroom, someone said.
On
the bunk bed.
I don't agree with that.
Okay.
Maybe on the road, somebody said.
Somebody said pull over on the side of the road and get it in. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of creativity out there. Hopefully you did your homework assignment.
Yeah.
And what's next week's homework? Since it's Christmas, what type of, I don't know. We could do a mistletoe challenge and you could post your pictures to Facebook or something. We want to see, since it's Christmas, we're going to do a mistletoe challenge. We want to see your pictures of you kissing by a Christmas tree or under the mistletoe or something like that. If you guys want to do that, and just post it to our Join at the Hip Marriage Ministry Facebook page. And don't forget that we are doing a 12-hour prayer, intercessory prayer for couples, starting on the 31st of December.
Yes, we want to see you. We want to know your prayer requests.
We want your prayer requests.
We're all struggling and going through something, so don't be afraid. And of course, you can personally inbox us too, but don't be afraid. We're going to be talking about finances, unrealistic expectations,
intimacy,
health, how to praying to stay attractive and all of that. Children, wisdom to raise your children.
All that fear, dreaming for your family, goals that you have set that have not been accomplished. We want God to do that thing
He will,
in 2018 for your family and your marriage. Things that you're trying to overcome in your marriage, we want God to do that. The only way God is going to hear us is if we call on Him.
Call on Him, y'all.
So
He will do it.
So instead of being at the club on the 31st, dancing and looking, let's devote that time to prayer and supplication and calling on the name of the Lord. Won't you join us?
Yes.
We pray that you will be there. Give us your prayer requests. We'll even take them now. And we will be doing it from 12 noon to 12 midnight.
Calling on the name of Jesus. Also, we remind you too, our friends Anella and Derek Knight have a Love Life Marriage Conference coming up Valentine's Day weekend in February.
Yes.
And we want y'all to be there. It is awesome every year. She's always thinking outside the box. And so please join us for that. Mm-hmm. And, of course, the marriage retreat coming up the first weekend in June.
So be there. Start putting a little money. When that tax refund hit in
that's
February,
what it is right there.
Put $300 to the side.
Put it on it.
For your marriage. Invest in your marriage.
Yes. And it's not the typical, y'all. It is a lot of
fun. You know what we do.
Yes.
It's not going to be no PowerPoint presentation. We're out in nature. We're doing like couples team building activities.
Yeah.
It's real out the box. You would love it. By God's grace, we will see you guys there.
Was there something else? I thought there was something else.
And then we're gonna have our live meetup where we discuss Sleeping with the Enemy 3, and we're gonna talk about all things sex in a marriage. You want to come out? We're going to be talking about are toys permissible in a marriage, in a Christian marriage? Anything else? Pornography and all that. Yeah. So we want y'all to be there. Please join us.
All right, let's have prayer.
We're going to close with a word of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for today's live show. It's been a blessing. We were able to have an awkward, uncomfortable conversation, but we did it in love, and we received each other. We felt where each other was coming from. And we know that our marriages are going to be blessed because we can look forward to sex again with our spouses. Yes. We can look forward. Yes. We don't have to believe that it's not going to end in a pleasurable moment. Right. We know that is your will and your promise to us as for doing the right thing and being married and having sex. So we thank you. We know that you're going to do great things in our marriage, and we're looking forward to next week's topic. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys next week. And we'll see y'all. Come on, play us out, man. It's Christmas, y'all. Take your wives out.
You better.
You better.
Okay, sorry.
Take your wives out. Enjoy this. Well, the weather turned on us.
Okay, take it right now.
Okay. Sorry, y'all. We was trying to play y'all out.
We'll just do the song.
All right, y'all know what it is.
The kids are not here, so we can't do this.
We can't do our dance party because the kids aren't here. They're over at my brother's house.
They couldn't be here for this.
Plus, we didn't want them anywhere in the vicinity.
I don't want to explain what an orgasm is. Not yet.
Not yet.
Y'all have a blessed Merry Christmas. Have fun. Enjoy your time with your family. Can you turn me around?
I can't. You sit.
Oh, I'll take it off.
Have fun with your spouse, y'all.
Yeah.
Life's too short.
It is.
Have fun. Dance with her. Take her out. Take her out salsa dancing or something.
So that must be.
You need to go salsa dancing.
Yeah, exactly. Look it up. He keeps promising me that, but that's all right. I believe. Believe in God for it, y'all. That's what I'm doing.
Why y'all not dancing? We don't see y'all dancing out there. Where y'all at?
I believe, I believe. He can perform that miracle.
God can do all things. You gotta trust and believe and stand on His promises.
I believe. We're joined at the hip. Can't nothing tear us apart. All right, y'all. Y'all take care.
Come on, let your feet get happy. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Somebody make some noise in here. Come on, catch it, Jehovah.
We'll see y'all next week. By God's grace.
This is too long.
It is.
Oh, God. I
Hey.
need my glasses.